Welcome to another edition of our Dailyish Devotionals. I am Pastor Brian. Today is Friday, and I am wearing a Gopher sweatshirt because we are celebrating the Gophers as the number 5 football school in the nation. They're ranked 5th in the recruiting class for 2021. I don't really know what that means. Some website rates the incoming players, and they have a lot of high-rated players, ranks them 5th. Probably means nothing. But since we're not celebrating any on-the-field accomplishments or no real sports are going on now, then we're celebrating the Gophers being number 5. Roll the boat, Sky Yuma, go Gophers. I know you've missed my football humor in the worship, so I thought I'd bring some of it to you today. I also want to give you a fair warning. I'm going to offer a commentary on world events and actions and attitudes, and so if you want to miss that, go ahead and skip forward to about minute 5, we'll say, or a little after. I've always struggled as a pastor to how much I publicly should comment on world events and political things or whatever, current events that are happening. And I sternly believe that Sunday morning worship is not a time to comment on it. Privately, I'm happy to have the discussion. How about, I was wondering how much should I share on my other platforms, blogs or whatever. And there are arguments on both sides where should or shouldn't do it. But I want to offer a little bit on our changing attitudes that I see in this pandemic. Southwest Iowa has been spared so far. I'm knocking on wood here from what it looks like the worst of it, at least from my little perspective. And it seems the further along we go in this, the more people are getting antsy. The more I'm getting antsy to get back to normal and get back to doing normal things. Letting the kids play with whoever they want, having friends over, being over at a friend's house, going out to eat, getting together. And I find myself thinking, it's not so bad here. I probably can get away with this. Right? Or if it's just me and a few people, we can get away with it. But then I always think too, well, if everyone thinks like that, pretty soon it's a bunch of people trying to get away with it. And it's always interesting to me how quickly I tend to think I know better, even if experts are telling me that by acting this way it's going to cause a bigger damage, and they have some historical data to prove it. I think, well, the curve hasn't been as bad as you said it was going to be, and we're pretty lucky here so far. So I'm just going to keep, I know better here than what they know. It's pretty interesting how pretty soon I become the expert. I can justify things by saying, by whatever means. And I find that happening more and more. And I wonder, why do we think we're the experts? Right? I mean, how would we react if someone came into our place of work or if we're not working anymore, our hobby or whatever, and said, you're doing it all wrong. Here's how you should be doing it better and different. And that person had no experience or expertise in our job. Would we listen to them? No. We'd laugh at them and say, get out of here. But we're perfectly fine and very quick to do that, it seems like, here. Right? Experts are saying just keep it going a little while longer, and we'll help things out even more. But we say, nah, it's been long enough, it's getting hard. So it's time to, I can do this or that, just for whatever reason we justify, right? But it's kind of interesting how I find with myself too, once things get to be hard, a little bit more of an inconvenience, then we start justifying how we can stop them or change them. When it's easy, it's easy. But when it starts getting hard and uncomfortable and it's getting to be long, well, then it's time to be done. These experts know what I'm talking about. So I just offer that as a commentary and observation. They're experts for a reason. Are they perfect? Hell, are you? But how can we think we know more, right? How would we react? Like I said, if an expert came into us and said, here's how you need to do it, but they had nothing to do with, knew nothing about how we did it. We wouldn't listen to them. So maybe sum it up, listen for a little bit, right? We don't know better. And maybe your actions, as they always say, can save the life of a stranger. That's the hardest part for us, is we don't always see the immediate impacts of our actions. Okay, we got 5 seconds left before the 5-minute mark, and those people that skipped on ahead, so we're okay. There, 5 minutes in. Raw Notchcraft in his book here, in his chapter, we're going to dive into. But first, a little humor to break up that little commentary, Pastor Rant. I love that cartoon. Thought it was pretty funny. Forgetful Folk Support Group. Ron begins his chapter and it's titled, "You're sometimes shrieking, sometimes laughing mirror." He begins his chapter talking about this illustrator of some novelty item used to be like a pet rock, and he talks about the little black keychain type thing. Used to have 3 buttons. One would be a machine gun, one would be a death ray, one might be an explosion. I remember having one of those when I was younger. It makes me laugh because I remember this book was published in 1996, which was a while ago. But I found it funny to think about that little noise-making machine that he had. But he goes down and talk about a little novelty mirror. And he ties it into the Bible verse because he takes from the first chapter of James, beginning in verse 22, "Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Anyone who listens to the word but does not do what it says is like a man who looks at his face in a mirror and, after looking at himself, goes away and immediately forgets what he looks like. But the man who looks intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continues to do this, not forgetting what he has heard, but doing it, he will be blessed in what he does." Ron says, here's a radical idea. Every time you read the Bible, something should change. The Bible says that if all we do is read the Bible, we deceive ourselves. We are supposed to change because of our reading of the Bible. Right? What good does it do you to just read through it and have it not affect any area of your life? Or Ron would maybe even so bold to say, what good does it do you to read through the Bible and not have it challenge any part of your life? Sure, we can read through the Bible and be uplifted and feel good about the story or the reminder that God is bigger than us and all things are under control. But if every time we read we're never challenged to do better or try something different or to step out in faith, then we're not really taking it to heart. That's where he brings in the analogy of the mirror, right? We take a look at the mirror and it's supposed to show us what we look like and is there anything needs to change, right? Add a little makeup here, do our hair a little differently. Does our outfit look okay put together, right? Does the shirt match? All that other good stuff. And so like reading the Bible and not doing anything is like looking at a mirror and not making any changes because your hair is all sticking up bedheady-ish when you leave the house. Although my children are pretty good at that going to school. But anyway, Ron challenges us, and it says, like it says in James, which is a great book to read, that when we read the Bible, it should change part of you. So as we're doing our morning routine, hopefully we started that this morning, a little bit of a Bible reading, and a little bit of just time praying and spending it with God. When you read that little section of the Bible, start wherever you want. Book of James would be a good challenging start. Start with the Gospel if you haven't read much of the Bible or haven't read it for a long time. But after you read that passage, how can that influence my life today? What can I learn from that I can try to put into practice? You might be amazed at the things you can learn and what the Bible could teach you. Quick plug, Sunday morning we're going to have a car ship down at the Minden Community Club. 10 a.m. come down in your car and then you can worship in from the safety of your car. We'll have some virus-free snacks hopefully to share and have some live music with Kevin and Connor, hopefully, if we can make all the technical stuff work. So I invite you to come down and join us at 10 a.m. at the Minden Community Club for our car ship. See you then.